Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is the sequel to one of my favorite movies of all time, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. And while it's not as good or as epic or as awesome as I still think it's a very good movie in the franchise and should be accepted.
He's almost famous.
You dream of trading places. I have been changing faces. You cannot fill these shoes. There is too much to lose.
Okay guys, I just got back from the midnight screening of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, so I'm going to try to keep my voice down because there are people in my house trying to sleep. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on to the review. Overall, I really did like the movie. I have been a fan of the series since I was a little kid. This is probably one of my longest followed series ever because I've just been, ever since a kid, as a little kid, this was my favorite series. After the first one came out, I was hooked on it, and then the next two came out, and I was amazed by how good Disney could actually make movies. So you can tell I've been cautiously waiting for the last 4 years for this movie, and I had to be there on midnight. Anyway, I'm going to go and get to the review just so you can get the emotional attachment to me. First of all, the 3D, I did see it in 3D. I don't think the 3D was necessary. It was a nice touch. It was a very nice touch. It wasn't forced. But I would say don't see it in 3D unless you really have the money to spend, or you just want to see very pretty visuals, because the visuals are very nice, but I don't think that it's worth seeing in 3D. So, just saying. The plot, if you don't know, is basically Jack, he's back obviously, and he is being hunted by the government as usual, but Barbossa this time, he is hired as the government's captain to go find the Fountain of Youth. So Jack, being Jack, he gets captured by a girl he used to like, and he gets taken aboard Blackbeard's ship. So Blackbeard and Barbossa, which by the way, they hate each other, they're basically racing and Jack's just in it. So whatever, and him and Barbossa are good friends still, so it's kind of weird to see which path he takes and stuff. I thought the plot was very well done. The climax, which is usually the best part of the Pirates of the Caribbean series, like you're always just like sitting there like, okay, all the boring stuff's happening and it can be very good, but come on, let's bring out the climax. The climax was very well done as usual, very pretty animated, and it kind of kept me on my toes for a little bit there, Well, I kind of knew what was going to happen, but it wasn't so predictable that it was boring. That's all I want to say about the plot because I don't want to ruin it. The acting. Johnny Depp, as usual, he reprises his role as Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow. And as usual, he does awesome. He did very good, as always, so enough said about him. Let's move on. Barbossa, which I'm going through the characters that have already been in the series before, the three main characters, the two main characters. Geoffrey Rush played Hector Barbossa again, as he has in the last 4 movies, or the last 3 movies, and I think he still did very good. You can kind of see how age has kind of been taking its toll on him and the characters, so I really like that. Next, some new characters. We have Penelope Cruz as Angelica. Now, I think that for a new character, she did very good. She definitely kind of kept you wondering, ooh, has she changed, or is she still evil? So that was kind of good. And Ian McShane as Edward Teach, aka Blackbeard. I think he did fantastic. He really he took initiative with the role, and he did what he should have done. He kind of played it a little bit safe at times, but when he did take liberties, he did it in a very good way. So I do think he did very good. And that's basically it for the acting. Everybody else did really good, though. Everybody else who was in the movie, Gibbs and Phillip and stuff, they all did good. Okay, let's move on. Next, I want to say the action scenes and the comedy. Now, there were a lot of fight scenes, and there were only 2 that are really worth mentioning between some main characters, which I'll get into in the spoiler section. But I think all the fight scenes, near the beginning, they were kind of paced too fast, and they kind of got the music off at times. But other than that, I think that they were very well done, very action-y as always, and, kind of kind of amazing to watch still. And the comedy, they still have the comedy right, so they nailed the comedy right on the head like usual. And then music, they did add a lot of brand new scored songs, like score songs. They added a lot of those, and I feel like some were very good, but some were not as good as others. Mainly, they kept the Curse of the Black Pearl in there, the theme song, but I think they kind of got it out of sync sometimes. I really like it when, like you have the heavy music emphasizing and then they just cut it off. That was a great effect they do, usually for comedy or for epic reasons. Anyway, overall, I really did like the movie. I think it's a fantastic installment to the franchise, and if you have been following the franchise and you don't know if you should go see it, go and see it. It's worth watching. They are definitely going to make a 5th one. Don't say, oh, well, they might make a 5th one, Emil. No, it's been confirmed that they are making a 5th one. It is going to be released within the next 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 at the most. So go see it if you want to follow the franchise, because I think it's going to be going in a good direction. Time for spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, please leave. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but if you have seen it, then please stay. I want to talk about some theories and stuff. First of all, let's get this out of the way. The fight scenes. The only 2 fight scenes I want to point out are, one is when Angelica and Jack fight for the first time. That's a very big drawn out fight scene that I did not see coming. And obviously Jack wins, but he doesn't kill Angelica because he's Jack. And then I really did like how they did that. I think that they got the timing with the music off, but other than that they did very good with it. And then you have, obviously, my favorite fight scene in the movie, and probably one of my favorite in the series, Hector Barbosa versus Edward Teach, or Blackbeard. That was a very nice fight between like the 2 oldest people in the franchise. Very well drawn out fight, and I really do like the end. I didn't know who was going to win the whole time. I really didn't know who they were going to kill off. But I do wish they would have kept on Blackbeard, because I thought he was going to be the new Davy Jones character, but he might just end up being the brand new Barbosa character. But something else, I'm going to talk about some theories and stuff like that. Now, the big thing is, I was wondering if, Blackbeard, if you don't know who Blackbeard is, he, in real life, I'm not just talking about the movie, in real life, he was the biggest, baddest, worst person. He was undefeatable. He was a huge, oh, by the way, Blackbeard, he got all those powers, by the way, from voodoo, if you didn't know, just telling you. He was the biggest, baddest pirate around, and he was ruthless, and he was just crazy. So in this movie, I was wondering if he was going to be as big of a threat as Davy Jones, which, obviously, Davy Jones, it took forever to kill him, and Jack didn't even get to kill him. It had to be Will who killed him. I was not expecting Blackbeard to get killed by Barbosa. It's very unexpected for me, and I wish they didn't. But then again, I thought about it more, and the reason they probably killed off Blackbeard, if you think into it, other than just, well, the reason I hope they thought of this, is because Blackbeard is just a pirate. He's like Jack. He's like Barbosa. He's just a pirate. He uses voodoo, kind of the way that Jack and Barbosa have used voodoo, but he uses it more to his advantage a lot more. He uses it to kill people with his ship. Now Barbosa's using it, obviously, but that's how he would control people, and you can tell by the voodoo doll. That's where it kind of made itself obvious. But Davy Jones wasn't just a pirate, he was a god. That's what the pirates looked up to him as. He's basically like the god of death for the, for the 7 seas. So, if you have a god fighting a mortal, the god would probably definitely kill him. So, that makes me kind of think Blackbeard wasn't any better than Jack or Barbosa. I guess that's basically it. That's all I want to talk about the movie. Leave me in the comments. Tell me what you thought of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Tell me if you are expecting the last one as much as I am. Or the last one, the next one, the 5th one. They might make a 6th one, they might make a 7th one. And just, tell me anything you want to say. Tell me what you thought of the brand new characters. Tell me what you thought of... Tell me who you think would win between Davy Jones and Blackbeard. That's something I really like to think about, because Davy Jones was just epic. Especially with the Kraken, and Blackbeard's pretty cool, especially with his ship. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. So subscribe for some more news and reviews, and I guess right now that's all you need to know about Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
I want you to see all of the light.